don't care if it's perfect or not. Like, oh my God, I gotta stop the video because there's a crazy car on the side of the road that's driving past us going, it's fine. It's fine.
Hey guys, I'm Amy.
I'm Michael.
And we're the Evans, and we own Heaven's Acres, or at least soon. We close on it this week. And we're super excited because today we are going to our very first horse auction. I know a lot of people online might not always agree with horse auctions, but we have watched so many horse auction YouTubes, and that's one of the reasons we decided to record today for our new channel, because they've helped us out a lot and given us some insight on what they're all about, and even kind of given us the option of using auctions as a way to get our future horses, because we'll probably get more than one. But I will say a little disclaimer right here, that horse auctions are, of course, just one option to obtaining horses. There's some negativity around auctions for sure. I think the one we're going to today has some really good reviews and has some higher end horses. We'll see by the prices and how the horses are, what kind of shape they're in. But it's definitely an option for us.
Yeah, I would say that there's a lot of different options out there if you're looking to buy a horse. Private sale, of course, like I'm sure there's probably areas locally that you can look at and be able to find private sale horses. Facebook groups are actually a really good source as well. You can find some, like here where we are, there's some $2,000 and under, $1,000 and under, and I think that auctions are also a really great place. Even though there's definitely probably going to be some horses at auctions that probably aren't in the best of shape, and you want to be able to help those horses and save them and stuff.
We're going to want to take them all home.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's something where you got to make sure that you're capable of doing that as well. And then I think the other side of thing is that horse auctions aren't just where horses are sent because they're not wanted anymore or they're in bad shape. I think you have to take into account that there's a lot of people that might be on hard times. They might have medical bills, they might have other personal circumstances or moving or something like that. So you can find some really good horses, whether they're registered, unregistered, loose horses in horse auctions as well, and probably get them for a pretty good price depending on where you're at.
And we're mostly looking for, today of course we can't buy anything because we haven't closed on our property yet, but I've owned a horse before and it's something that I've wanted to do so badly again, and Michael's really into horse ownership, and it's just something that we're ready for again in our life. And with the closing of our property, you know, having just under 40 acres, we're looking at definitely having a horse by this time next year. And going to this auction today is just a really good way to educate ourselves on what's available in our area, what the prices are going for. I'm hoping I don't fall in love with anything today, but we're looking for something sound. We do have a baby on the way, so ensuring that it's a sound horse and good around children would be, you know, probably the utmost importance. And I'm a stickler for colors. At the end of the day, I love all horses, but I had a very dark horse growing up. It was like a chestnut, but even darker, and
it was almost like a mix between like chestnut and black.
It was.
Like it was very.
It was
dark.
very dark, and she was beautiful. But I want something completely different. But then again, who knows?
Give her that paint.
I want to paint. I'd love an Appaloosa, but I know they're so hard to find. I'd love a paint. I'd love like a cow paint or a brown and white paint. What's your favorite color horse? I know a lot of people are just like horse. They don't care about the color. And I'm not going to be, you know, if we find the perfect horse, and a lot of people talk about connecting with the horse. So if I connect with a horse and it's a, you know, it's not the color that I had in mind, then the color doesn't matter. You know, matter. but definitely sound. That's all we're looking for.
Yep.
And yeah, we're looking forward to going to the auction today. We actually have some of his family coming with us, and I'm super excited to have them come along. His mom, his sister, and his sister's wife. They're going to be joining us, and they're coming along for the ride, and they're just as excited.
It should be a really fun time. So we're also really excited too, because the other thing with horse auctions also is you don't just have to go for the horses. A lot of horse auctions do tack sales. So if you're looking for a new saddle or any kind of tack, a lot of the times earlier in the mornings or something like that, they're auctioning off tack.
Yep.
So you can probably get some pretty good deals with that as well. So that's something else that we're interested in.
And this one has an 11 o'clock tack.
Oh yeah.
And 1 o'clock horse show. So we're definitely going to be looking at the tack as well, and just kind of seeing what they have available. I unfortunately don't have my saddle anymore, so getting a saddle is something that we're going to need, and all the tack to go along with it. So come along to the auction today. Keep an open mind with us, and see what we can find. We'll try to record as much as possible. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because we are brand new. We have a lot coming up on our channel in the next year, and we'd love for you guys to come along for the ride. Pun intended.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. We'll see you at the auction. So I just went to the office and we got our catalog, and we're now going to the outdoor arena to watch some horses, and we're going to try to get in to see some horses in stalls afterwards, but for now we'll check out some horses out here. It was a super windy day at this auction, as you guys can hear and you can see as well. So I'm going to turn down a little bit of the background audio and talk mostly over the outdoor arena clips that I have. As you can see, there were a few horses that were in the outdoor arena, but not all of them. Later on when we went to the actual auction, there were a bunch of horses that we didn't get to see in the outside pens, the outside arena, or the indoor pens. This little one right here, number 24, my lucky number as well, really caught my eye, and I kept a close look on him the whole time. You'll later see how much he goes for, which was quite a lot. But I really liked him. He was super stocky, and it also listed that he was kid friendly, and of course that's something that is super important to me. He was a 2020 model, as they say, only 3 years old, safe and sound in every way. And although he looks like he might be a bit short, he was actually 15.1 hands high. This one was really pretty too. Number 4, which was a buckskin gelding. And I really liked the name Luck Little Lena. Number 17 had really beautiful colors too. And this horse here just kind of blew me away. Super well trained, as you can see, and wasn't a catalog horse. You can tell by the sticker on the butt there. It wasn't like a painted on number. When it's a sticker like that, it means they're not a cataloged horse. So to get information, we would have had to went to find the owners, and we weren't really that invested in this auction. 27 was a gorgeous horse as well, as you can see here, and it was actually one that I was kind of interested in too. It ended up going for a pretty big price, you guys will see, and that was a blue roan. I think they're just absolutely gorgeous, and he would have made a really good ranch horse or beginner ranch horse, which would have been great for me. And I went back to number 24 here. You can see 24 now has a little baby with him, and that kind of just sold the horse for me. But again, number 24 went for quite a lot. You guys will see in the auction. Way over my budget and worth every dime, if you ask me, because it was a great horse, but definitely more than what we were willing to pay. This horse here is actually everything we've been looking for in a horse, except we never did see it go through the auction. I kept my eyes open because it wasn't listed in the catalog, but I never did see it in the loose horses or in the horses after the catalog either. So I'm not sure if maybe it sold outside the ring or we just missed it somehow. But yeah, I would have liked to see how much this horse went for. All right, so we just saw the horses in the outdoor arena and watched some of them, and they were beautiful. And now we're headed inside to see the horses that are stalled in here and maybe get a better look at some of them. The first horse that we got to see when we went inside the paddock area was this beautiful Sorrel Tobiano gelding. And of course, Tobianos are a type of paint, so I love them. I checked over the feet. I know we're not super serious today, but I'm still kind of approaching it as if we were and kind of going down through my mental checklist of things to look for. Of course, I would be much more hands-on and actually going into the paddock if I was interested in purchasing this horse. But having an overall check of the horse is still super important to me, like checking for long hooves or any type of heat from the legs. Those are some things that I could possibly do from the outside. Michael read up a lot more on this horse. And then I spotted this one, number 22, which you'll see a lot of in this whole auction. That is exactly my type of horse right there. Speaking of long hooves, though, look at this guy. I felt really bad for this horse here. He had super long hooves on the back. And then this one here, I didn't realize how young it was until we actually checked out the catalog. This beautiful Palomino is only a year old, this little filly, and she was the last one of the day actually that we would get to see. I think her name was Especially Valiant, I do believe. Yeah, Palomino filly, the very last one, and she only was halter broke, but she went for a pretty good price, kind of within our price range too, but not super interested in a filly at the moment. I really wanted to see that number 22 horse, but the owner was getting the saddle off of it, and again, because we knew we weren't super interested today, we didn't want to ask any questions to the owner or anything. So we kind of just walked around a little bit more, and there I am spying the owner taking the saddle off the horse, just patiently waiting to go check out the horse. And then we came up to number 28. This is another Sorrel gelding, and Sorrels are not one of my favorite colors of horses, but this horse was just absolutely beautiful. It actually went for one of the highest prices of the day in the auction. You guys will see that coming up real soon, and it's a 2018 gelding.
So we were walking around looking at all the horses and ended up coming across some little goats that are pretty cute.
One over here and a little black one back there. It's kind of brown.
It is brown, isn't it? Little goats with some horns on them. Just kind of chilling out and hanging out.
You guys are cute. What do you think, babe? Can we fit a goat in the train?
I mean, technically we could fit a goat in the train, but I don't think the apartment complex right now would appreciate a goat.
We still got 5 days left.
Yeah. Aamie over there trying to convince a goat to come up and let her pet him. Oh, you think I got food for you? I don't. I'm sorry. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. I get pets. I get pets.
This is close. But you just said that this was the best day ever, not the day that we went to the zoo and got married. This is top contender here with the day we got married. I'm joking.
Did y'all hear that? It's like this is like top contender for the day we got married.
If we were actually getting a horse today, you'd have some serious competition. I'm joking.
All right, and cut. So there's a couple of horses that Aamie wanted to check out. Number 22. So we're kind of walking over to see that one, see how friendly it is and what it looks like. And then there's also I believe they're being sold by the same people. And then there's a little tiny miniature pony. A miniature pony over there eating as well. Pretty horse. It got 2 numbers. It's got 22, 22. It's got a cut on its right leg.
It does.
Really? Ah, that sucks. That'll affect it for sure.
And just to pop in here real quick, it did affect it, I believe. This horse went for a lot less than I think it should have. You guys will see that coming up.
It's got a good scrape of skin and stuff off of it. See the hooves? See? Wow. Wonder what happened there.
It's kind of a shame too, because when this horse entered the ring, the seller let everyone know that it just had a run-in with a fence, and it was only superficial, nothing to actually damage the horse, but I think people just didn't want to take a chance.
It is small.
This little 7-year-old black gelding known as Blackie is only 32 inches tall. That's like my height. Or almost. He was so cute. He was the first in the sale today, so we get to see him right away. And this was a beautiful horse as well, but I don't think it liked men, because it liked me, but it didn't seem to like Michael very much. But something else I'll mention, I did mention looking at hooves. We also check out the conformation of the horse, obviously its temperament as much as we can see. And we also want to check out the gender, because I am looking more so for a gelding than a mare, but who knows, if I find the right horse, I would take a mare too. Then we headed back outside to make our way to the indoor auction, and I spotted number 6, the 2016 Palomino gelding, Jesse, who is 7 years old. He's absolutely beautiful. He's kid safe. He's 15.3 hands high. Everything I'm pretty much looking for. So I even talked to the seller for a little bit, just to get some more information on him. And if I had have been super interested, I definitely would have even asked to maybe either take him for a ride or check out his feet a little bit more. But he seemed super sound and friendly and just absolutely beautiful. Then we headed into the auction, and we'll get started with that right away.
Anybody need the best range, babe? Now 30, 25, 30, 30.
To start off the auction, they actually had a tax sale, and it was quite interesting. Of course, this was our first auction and our first tax sale, so getting to see what they were selling and what kind of prices the tack was going for was quite interesting. They sold some bridles, like you can see here. They had reins and saddle pads. Actually, one of their saddle pads was super beautiful. This one right here, I totally would have taken it home. They had some gorgeous saddles as well, in different types of saddles. We will definitely be coming back and using a tax sale at an auction, because the prices were awesome. Everything from saddles and saddle pads to even water buckets. They had everything. But we didn't come for the tack, and I'm sure you guys didn't come here to see the tack either. You came to see horses. So let's get right into the actual auction, starting with Blackie. Blackie was the one we just talked about. We saw it in the paddock a minute ago. He was a 2016 black gelding, a great kids pony. And actually there was a kid riding him in the ring, and they mentioned that he was getting a new pony. He'd outgrown Blackie, so they were looking for a new home for him. And he actually started the day off really low with a great price. He sold for just $1,000. This was a really pretty 2012 Sorrel gelding. Again, not my favorite color horse, but this horse was absolutely stunning and handled super well. He had been used for so many different riding tasks, and extremely well broke. And he sold for $5,700. Not surprised at all. I gotta give props to this seller. The seller came in with this bay gelding at 2019 and immediately told the crowd about how the horse has been hurting a little bit in one of its legs, just a bit stiff. But just to tell everybody that, I thought it was super, super awesome. The horse still sold for $5,400. This was a beautiful 2018 buckskin gelding. And unfortunately, this was the first no sale of the day. It did get a fairly high number in the bid, but it didn't get anywhere close to what the seller wanted. I think that mostly happened because the seller, oh, by the way, this horse's name was Doobie, which I think I need to hang on to that name and name a future horse Doobie. I think that's a great name. But the seller did mention that this horse, if left alone in a stall, would crib. But if in a big pen or out in a paddock, he would do fine. And I honestly think that that scared off a lot of potential buyers. We'll show you in a second how much the seller wanted for this horse and what the highest bid was.
Horse does a little cribbing in the box stall, that ain't no deal. Don't keep it in the box stall.
3,900 forward, I'm gonna be 39, I'm gonna be down forward, I'm gonna be down 39, I'm gonna be down forward, I'm gonna be down 39, I'm gonna be down forward, I'm gonna be forward, I'm gonna be down forward, sold him 3,900. What's it take? Takes 10,000.
Up next, number 5 was a 2015 Sorrel gelding, and this horse was being sold as a grade, meaning that it didn't have registered papers, but they did mention in the catalog that you could possibly reach out and get the papers and get this horse registered, which would increase the cost, usually the price of the horse. This horse ended up going for a pretty decent price, even as a grade. It sold for $5,500. Remember that horse I saw just before coming in to the auction inside, and I spoke to the seller? Well, this is that horse right here. This is number 6, the 2016 Palomino gelding. And I have to share with you guys, this horse was actually trained and currently being ridden by 2 10-year-old girls. They used him on barrels, roped, and even started roping cattle with him. And he's been used for moving and loading cattle. This was a beautiful horse. They said that he was super trainable. He's also super big at 15.3 hands high. They did a really good job showing him off. There's their mom that I actually spoke to outside, and yeah, he definitely would have been a horse I would have been interested in, but unfortunately this horse was also a no sale today. And you know what serves them right? They've put a lot of work into this horse, and they wanted a certain amount for him, and it just didn't reach that amount. It did reach pretty high though. Let's watch the rest of the auction and see how high it goes.
Now 95, 95, 95, 95, 9,500, 9,500, 9,500, 9,500, 9,500, I'm gonna be down to the bid 95, I'm gonna be down to the bid 9,500, I'm gonna be down to the bid 95, 95. Sold the horse, $9,000 a bid on. Whoa, what's it take? Takes 12 grand.
Horse number 7 was this beautiful 2019 brown gelding. This was a beautiful horse, but unfortunately it was the next no sale of the day with a reserve of $5,500.
All right, 2011 model Bay Mare.
Next up was Reba, a grade 2011 Bay Mare, and I left a lot of this auction horse in there for you guys to see, because I love the fact that he came in with the 2 kids on the horse, letting everybody know that the horse is super friendly and easy to be around, but then he also did this, and I'm pretty sure I didn't expect that at this auction. It was really nice just to see how well-mannered the horse was, and obviously super sound as well. Reba ended up selling for a pretty good price, $3,000. Number 9 was a 2008 Bay Gelding. This 15-year-old ranch gelding was actually used on the same ranch since it was just a weanling and used in all aspects of the ranch. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a 15.2 hands high and weighed about 1,300 pounds. The seller also took the bridle off and showed the crowd that it could be ridden with just the neck reins, which I thought was pretty awesome as well. This horse sold for a pretty good amount, $4,500. This next horse is absolutely beautiful. And I know I say that about all horses, but all horses are beautiful in their own way. And I don't know if it's the face markings or the lighter sorrel color on this horse, or maybe it's that it's a winner. This horse actually has competed at WRCA rodeos this past summer and took home a bunch of winnings. And I believe that might have contributed to the amazing sale price that this horse went for. This horse got up to a bid of $10,500. That was the highest for this auction. And this fast horse is a 2014 Bay Gelding. This horse, they mentioned, has been used outside a ton and in the feed yard, and he's done every single ranch chore that he could do. I loved that the seller was able to just kind of show him off a little bit in such a small place. This horse, this Bay Gelding, went for $6,700. This pretty 2018 Bay Gelding was up next as number 12 and ended up selling for $3,100. This was the first colt of the day, a June 17th, 2021 done colt. This was Chalupa was their name, and it was absolutely beautiful. Such a pretty horse, and could be used for so many different things. This horse ended up selling for quite a bit. It went for $8,500. Number 14 was a red roan filly, and a beautiful horse at that. The seller ended up taking the saddle off because she was nipped by another horse, but she ended up still going for $7,000 at this sale. A lot of ranch horses were at this sale, and this was another ranch horse here. This one had been used for roping and on grass, and it ended up going for a pretty good amount, considering that they noted that he could be a little watchy and definitely wasn't for beginners. But he handled super well, and looks like he ended up going for $3,750. And we're about to kick off some more no sales. This was a 2014 Sorrel Gelding. He was a 9-year-old ranch gelding, been used in all aspects on the ranch. And he was 14.3 hands high, but he ended up not selling today at the sale. He got up to $3,500, but went at a no sale. Did not meet the reserve. This registered 2018 Bay Gelding is about 15.1 hands high, and I think this is just such a stunning horse, especially the way they have his tail braided. He ended up going for $5,500. Number 18 is a 2013 Sorrel Gelding from New Mexico, and he had never been in a arena before and didn't want to be in one this day either. I left this part in because I found it super entertaining that they could not get this gelding into the indoor selling arena. They ended up, I think, we'll see in a second, but I think they even had to bring another horse in. He ran away. You can just tell that the seller was just super annoyed not being able to get the horse into the indoor arena. But it did say in the catalog that this horse was owned by an older fella in New Mexico, and they ended up bringing him up to this sale, trying to get him a good home here. He had been used to like gather sheep and cattle. Yeah, here it is. They bring in another horse to try to encourage the horse to come on in. They have it listed that the horse is real gentle and up to date on everything as well. Once that other horse came into the arena, this one had no problem to come on in. Number 18 is actually stunning, super beautiful horse, but unfortunately, as I said, we kind of kicked off a bunch of no sales here with number 16 ahead of it, and number 18 was just the same. Ended up going with a no sale. The bids got up to $3,200, but it didn't meet the reserve that the sellers had, so it did not find a home. This 2017 Bay Mare was being sold as an all-round, do-anything kind of horse with a pedigree and quality for a brood mare. Unfortunately, it was also a no sale. Beautiful horse, but didn't meet the reserve of $15,000. It got up to $9,000 in the bidding. Next up was unfortunately another no sale, and I will tell you now a little bit of foreshadowing. This was the horse with the highest reserve of the day. This 2020 chestnut gelding, while absolutely beautiful, looked sound, and was seemingly well mannered, did end up not going for sale. Reggie was used in ranch gathering and sorting cattle. He's roped and done everything, but unfortunately he did not sell for $20,000 on this day. The bidding got up to $4,200.
Takes $20,000, internet, if you're interested.
I'm not sure if you could hear it, but we all did. We heard the gasp. I thought this horse was stunning, a 2018 black gelding. This horse was ridden by 5-year-old and 8-year-old girls at their junior rodeos for barrels and poles. Unfortunately, though, at this auction, this horse also went no sale. The bids got up to $6,750, but there was a reserve of $10K.
Okay, next horse. They need 10, Dylan needs 10,000 for his black horse. Here's my buddy, Timothy Mask. He's got a 2018 pink gelding. Raised on our farm. He's got lots to go. He's going to be an endurance horse. Ride him all day. He won't get tired. 15 one ends. Oh, he's getting himself up in the fence. Yeah.
All right.
Even though we weren't buying anything on this day, we didn't even get an auction number or anything because we knew we didn't have our property for 5 more days. So buying any horses, any livestock, even tack or anything was just out of the question, since we knew it was going to be another half a year or more before we could get a horse. However, that didn't change the fact that I was super nervous and anxious when 22 came in, because I did want the horse to go to a good home. And I do feel like it went for a steal of a deal because of the marks on its legs from that run-in with a fence. And you know what? I understand people not wanting to take the chance. You can't really have a vet look at it, at an auction. There's no way to make sure that that's not going to impede on the horse in the future. But I do believe that they were superficial, and I do believe that a lot of people in the crowd just decided to not take the chance on that. But to me, this horse looked fabulous. It was sound. Everything in the catalog looked great about it. But I was just really sad that I couldn't actually put a bid in, and this horse went for just $1,000. Number 23 was actually another colt. It was a 2021 Sorrel gelding, and it was kind of crazy what happened with this one. The bidding got up to a little bit less than what the reserve was, but the person who ended up bidding wanted the horse so badly that they jumped right up to the amount and matched the seller's reserve. So it ended up selling for the amount that they wanted. Have a listen.
No habits, no problems. You can't buy one up a bit. Huh? 10? Don't arm wrestle or anything?
Number 24 was up next, and you guys have actually seen a lot of this horse because I slightly stalked it in the outdoor arena because I thought it was beautiful. This is a 2020 Bayronne gelding gentle draft cross, and it immediately shot up to over $8,000 with the bidding, but it quickly went to no sale at $8,750. The seller wanted 10 grand for it, but then they kind of had a little back and forth. Have a listen.
Bill it. They're in here. They're right now. They're at 10,000. Say something besides no. I wouldn't do it to you if I didn't care about that fancy horse. He paid more than everybody in here. What if I get him to get how much? He drove for it. If I get you 9,000, he ain't that big. I can whip him. If I got you 9,000, would you sell him? 9 grand, send him to California. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
And in case you didn't hear that, the no sale is sticking. He did not sell for $9K. And this beautiful big horse is a 2011 gray gelding, 12 years old. Dennis is his name. Absolutely beautiful. Definitely a horse that I would be interested in. He was used for all aspects on a ranch. And on this day, he went for a pretty good price, honestly worth every penny, I believe. He ended up selling for $4,100. Look at that face. Number 26 was a beautiful 2021 Sorrel filly, so super young horse, and it was just started with riding and doing some ranch work. They ended up selling this horse at the auction for $4,100. You might remember this horse from the outdoor arena as well. We watched this one quickly. Number 27, this blue roan gelding is one of my favorites of the day. I have a heart next to it in the catalog. It ended up going for a pretty good price for how much it can do. It sold for $5,100. With 10 horses left in the catalog portion of the auction, number 28 was this beautiful 2018 Sorrel gelding. It's 14.1 hands high and ended up selling for $9,000, one of the highest horses of the day. You might recognize number 29. This was actually the first horse that we saw when we came into the indoor stall area towards the beginning of this video. This horse is a 2020 Sorrel Tabiano gelding. It's a 3-year-old gelding with 60 days of riding. And honestly, I was just in love with this horse too, but it did go for $6,300, which is a little bit over what we would pay anyway. This horse, I never caught a glimpse of this at all throughout the outdoor arena or any stalls on the inside. This was a beautiful 2019 black Tabiano filly. It was only a 2019. Absolutely gorgeous. The markings on this, I've always wanted a cow horse. This is beautiful. I would have taken it home that day if I didn't live in an apartment at the time. Absolutely beautiful. And this horse ended up selling for quite a bit at this auction. Also one of the highest horses sold of the day. $9,100. Next up was this 2019 Sorrel gelding. Such a beautiful horse, very big too, 15.2 hands high. 4 years old and just started under saddle, no bad habits. They mentioned he was a pet in the pasture and walks right up to you, which is actually super important for me as well. Not only a calm demeanor, but also a horse easy to catch when you do want to use the horse. This horse ended up going for a steal of a deal at $1,300. The next one was another high horse of the day. Listed as good for work or play, this 2018 Chestnut gelding ended up only getting up to, well, I say only, but $9,250 was what the bid got up to, but there was a reserve of $10,000. However, the buyer and the seller agreed, and he ended up being sold for $10,000. You'd never say that this bay gelding only had 60 rides, but he was so well mannered and just a beautiful horse all around. It was a 2019 bay gelding, as I mentioned, and this horse ended up going for $3,800.
Selling $3,800.
Number 34 was this beautiful 2019 black filly. She was a grade, so that means sold again without papers, but you know what? Sometimes they still go for quite a bit because it all comes down to the training and the demeanor of the horse. And this horse was so sound and so beautiful. I think I love black horses because of my time growing up watching Black Beauty, but this horse ended up selling for $4,500, which I do believe went for a really good price considering all she can do at just 4 years old. Number 35 was this 2014 Bay Mare. This 2014 Bay Mare was having none of this auction. I do believe that this horse was actually being sold by the gentleman in the white shirt with the cream color cowboy hat next to the auctioneer, and he actually vouched that if you get this horse home and you can't ride this horse or can't handle this horse, give him a call, because she was just acting up at this auction. The auction was kind of freaking her out, and I think it did affect the price on this day. I honestly think that this horse was worth more than what it went for at $1,700. What a beautiful filly. This is a 2023 Red Roan filly, almost a year old, born February 11th. Such a beautiful, beautiful little filly. And I think they called her Smoky. She's a liver chestnut roan with a lot of chrome. And she's doing really well so far, and she's obviously halter broke as well. And they think she'll top out to about 14 to 14.3 hands high, but super gentle demeanor for just a young horse. And it ended up no sailing at $5,500 with a reserve of $6,500. And the last horse that was listed in the catalog was number 37, this beautiful Palomino filly. We actually saw this horse, if you remember, out in the stalls before the auction actually started. She stands tied and is halter broke and 100% proof, and she ended up going for a really good price. She sold for just $1,100, and we thought that was the end of the auction. We knew there might be some loose pen horses, but then this guy came in with this horse, and I'm going to let you guys listen to this full thing.
I ride this horse everywhere. The whole tribe can use him. If you want to go chase goats, go for money, you can do it. If you want to call around on him on your grandkids, you can do it. He's caught. If you get hurt or you fall off, you go home. So if you let him go, you can spank his ass and go home. If you lay down on him, tell him to go home, he'll bring you back. Some of you boys seen him out in the arena. That's all I can do with him with the back that I got. And I'll tell you, you've seen the brakes that he had on him. You've seen what he can do. I mean, he is what he is. But I got torn spinal cord and I'm a recent widower. And I got him budget payment. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Stop, step up. Let's go.
Big safe horse. What's his age?
10.
All right, 5,000.
In case you guys missed that, this guy brought in this beautiful horse and mentions that he's paraplegic. He's unfortunately having to sell his horse due to needing money for bills. He's also a recent widower. But this horse is definitely one of a kind. It's super sound. He's there pulling on the tail. He takes the saddle off and he's climbing on the neck of the horse. He's climbing under the horse. I left all of this in here for you guys to see because honestly, I just found it super impressive what he's been able to do with this horse and how sound it is. So have a watch and see how much this horse goes for. Honestly, both me and Michael agreed that if we had have had money in our pocket and a place to bring this horse, probably would have been one we bid on. It was pretty much my favorite horse of the day, even more than number 22. Have a watch.
31, 31, 31, 2, 32, 33, 33, internet 3, 37, 37, 37, 37, 37, 36, 7, 36, 7, 36, and 7. Sold him $3,600.
Honestly, I think this horse was worth way more than $3,600, but I hope it did go to a great home. The last two horses were loose pen horses, as they call them. These are usually unbroken horses, untrained horses, and no one even wants to get in the auction arena with them. The first one went for $550, and the second one went for $650. And we keep our fingers crossed that these are going to homes where they're going to be looked after and trained, but of course, you never really know with the loose pen horses where they might end up. So let's hope they're going somewhere good.
All right, we're back. The auction is over. We're back home. We just got back home after the drive, and it was a little ways away from where we are, but it was totally worth going to. Honestly, it was way different than watching auctions online. If you guys watch this because you like watching horse auctions, that's the exact reason why we recorded it, because I think we've watched every single horse auction available online. It was way different than watching online, like going to one and being there in person. Highly recommended if it's something that you're interested in. To just go over quickly like how today went. Honestly, I was really impressed with the Dorado Livestock Auction, the people who run it, the way it's run, how clean the facility is, how good the horses were. How sound all the horses were, and I didn't feel like any of the horses shouldn't have been there. There was one horse that we had seen in the pen, which was actually a horse that I had herded, Juniper, and It had some, we noticed right away, it had some wounds on its back legs, but when it came into the arena, or the bidding arena, they told us that he had just had a run with a fence the day before, and they were superficial. So no damage done to the horse, but that horse did end up selling for just $1,000, which was the lowest price of the whole auction.
I would say the folks who ran the auction like really tried to make sure and that if there was any issues with the horses that they brought it up.
Yeah.
So there was one that kind of would crib or something like that, but they mentioned that even though the guy hadn't had him do it for him in the last couple of years, he still mentioned that it was something that was mentioned.
Left in a stall, he might crib. Good to know.
And then there were a couple others that had like some marks, or one of them got bit by another horse underneath the saddle pad. And
they took the saddle off.
They took the saddle off to show everyone, which I don't think most auctions really go through that level of detail. So I think the people who put this one on really tried to make it like a good auction for folks to know that what they're purchasing is what they're getting.
Absolutely. And I think the highest horse today went for $10,000. It actually only got up to $97.50, but the seller wanted $10,000, so the bidder ended up matching that.
Yep.
And it was a 2021 gelding, so it was a really pretty horse as well. Most of them that they averaged, as you guys just saw from the video, they averaged, somewhere between 4,000 and 8,000, mostly. A few really surprised me, like that number one, that little itty bitty gelding went for just $1,000. I thought that was going to go for more.
There were also a lot of no sales though.
There were a lot of no
like
sales.
The auction took off and they were getting some bidding and everything else, and then they would end up getting sold, but probably over 50% were no sales because people just weren't getting what they wanted for the horses.
A lot of the horses, they wanted $10,000, $15,000. Some of them even $20,000.
I think one of them wanted $20,000 for a horse.
Which you could hear the audience, like the arena, because no one expected horses, I don't think, to go for that high. But then again, we knew going into this that this was going to be, it even says it, Flinthill's finest. And honestly, there's probably at least 2 or 3 there I would have put my bid in on. But 2 or 3 of them went a lot higher than I'm willing to pay. And
we couldn't buy them.
We're not ready yet. This was more for the experience, and it was a good experience. With that said, my final question for you. Would you buy a horse at an auction in the future?
I think so. I think it just comes down to being able to check out the horses. I think that's a big key point of it, is that the horses get there early. So if you're going to buy a horse from an auction, get there and go check the horse out. So if you see one that you like, or if you're interested, a lot of the times you can go back in the pins and be able to look at them, check them over, to be able to just kind of double check. But I definitely would make sure that you know what you're doing. I don't think we're quite ready to do that for sure. So there's a lot more that we need to learn. One of the things that we did do is reach out to a couple old friends that Aamie knows to potentially send them pictures and video if we do find one at an auction that we want, to kind of get a second opinion. So that's something that folks might keep in mind as well.
Absolutely, because I might not pick out a lame horse if I'm, loving the color or have a really big connection with it. I'm just worried that I'm going to end up oversighting on something that is massive. And a lot of times this is something that, we know, and I hope that other people know about auctions. If you buy a horse from private sale, a lot of times you're able to get specific vet paperwork, or even have a vet go out and view that horse. With auctions, it's, you're buying on site. And it is what it is. You don't get that luxury of making sure the horse you're buying is completely sound. You're taking the word of someone selling that horse. So being knowledgeable yourself is where that comes into play. And while I'm a previous horse owner, that was quite a long time ago. And I've been doing my research, but I still don't feel like we didn't enter any of the stalls. We didn't pick up any feet today because we knew we would be wasting the horse's time and our own, because we weren't super serious on buying anything, obviously.
Yep.
But in the future, we would never buy something unless we didn't put hands on the horse and check it over and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think I agree with you. In the future, Might be a private sale, might be an auction where we get our horses, but I love the experience and I would do it again in a heartbeat, and maybe you'll be able to see it here on this channel again. If you guys like the auction, if you like our channel so far, we are brand new here. Our channel is called Heaven's Acres, and we're the Evans. So make sure to hit that subscribe and maybe even the like button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to tell us down below what color is your favorite color of a horse.
And even if you don't like us, like the puppies.
Yeah, like the puppies.
Like the
we have one
puppies.
back here and we have one over there. They're super cute. And if you like wiener dogs, then stick around because I'm sure they'll be on the channel a lot too.
But thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.